I cannot tell you what I thought. I cannot put into words how shocked, disappointed, alarmed I was today when I read, and I'm sure you felt the same way. When I read basically that again, that how do I say this? That the DOJ, again, and the FBI ruled that the Epstein, whatever you want to call it, whatever this thing was, it blew my mind when they said that this was yet again an example of his self-harm. I got to be careful because we got to get we can't violate the rules here. I thought to myself, you cannot be serious. It sounds like John McEnroe. What are they doing to me? What is this administration doing to me? What is the Trump administration doing? What are they saying? What are they saying? They said that there is no client list. They're saying that there's no conspiracy. I mean, that everything that we were told. Pam Bondi even said, I have the list on my desk, the client list, and then we're supposed to just forget everything. I don't even know what to say. I don't even know how to put this into words. I don't even know what to say. What is your reaction? Can you believe this? We're going to be talking about this. We're going to be talking about other things as well. But I'm going to tell you right off the bat, my friend, don't forget July the 19th. Let me get this out of the way. We're going to be at the Cutting Room. Tickets are available. Please join me for one of many reactions we will have to what's going on. It blows my mind. I can't believe what I am seeing. I can't believe what the world is and how we're going to be talking about it. July the 19th at the Cutting Room. So please, the tickets are available. There's a link right here. I'd love to see you. Join us. Be a part of the mayhem. Just on July the 19th. Thank you, darling. July the 19th. Join us. Join fellow travelers, fellow conspiratorium members and the like. July the 19th. This morning on WABC, I had a for the hour Dane Wigington, one of the best interviews ever on geoengineering. It was absolutely positively superb. But before, as I guess I missed it last night. On a Sunday night, they introduced this, I guess I want to call it this surprise memo, and it blew my mind. Interestingly enough, the Gateway Pundit has a great one. It says, wait, what? If there was no Epstein client list, then why did the New York court refuse the Gateway Pundit's legal request for the list based on an anonymous John Doe who was on the list? Does that make any sense to you? It's the most incredible story I've ever heard in my life. Dear God. How does anybody think this for a moment? They also write, if Jeffrey Epstein had no client list, then why did AG Pam Bondi tell reporters? The list is sitting on my desk right now to review. That's in the process of being reviewed. And there's also, as you know, real problem with and dare I say, I hate to say this, I hate to use this word, the bromance between the president and Elon Musk. Do you think there's any possibility any possibility that since Elon was saying and making references, making threats, if you will, making threats that the president had best either cooperate because he has information, Elon has information as to the president being on the quote list as well. I don't know what to believe anymore. But the thing that gets me the most upset regarding the DOJ and the FBI is that they introduce this information themselves. They tell you about it when you're not asking it. And they remind us. Kash Patel every week says, we're going to do this. Every week we're finding more and more information regarding the JFK assassination that they never told us about. New findings, new suspicions. Now, let me explain. I am not in any way about to turn my back on the president. I'm not losing my faith or my belief in MAGA or anything along those lines. I'm not doing that. But what I am doing is I'm wondering what is going on here. I have absolutely no faith in the DOJ, no faith in the FBI, no faith in Kash Patel, no faith in Bongino. And I'm sorry to say, but Pam Bondi, how did you get sucked into this? What did you think would happen? Did they just tell you to do this? Did they just tell you? Did they just tell you just that you had to, I guess that you had to just go along with this? I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I am not able anymore, and probably you aren't as well, to get to the bottom of what has happened here. How in the name of God are we supposed to, I guess I'm trying to say, how are we supposed to believe anything anymore? What happened to our system? What happened to our faith? Did you find yourself thinking this? What happened to this? How did this happen? These are the things which I find to be beyond anything I've ever seen before. These are these moments where I'm thinking, I can't believe this. What are your reactions? What was your take on this? What was your feeling? Let's talk just about this right now. This is an unforced error. An unforced error. Do you hear what I'm saying? None of this was required. None of this was necessary. None of this. Pilgrim Media, we haven't seen you lately, my friend. Pilgrim says, will any of this matter in 50 years? 50 years? 50? Probably not. I'm not looking at 50 years, are you? What matters in 50 years, do you think? What do you think matters in 50 years? That's a unique take. How are we supposed to? What are we supposed to do? This is critical stuff. What I'm wondering is, what does Elon know? What does Elon Musk know? How involved is he in this? What does Elon Musk know? How much does he know? Is there anything to the idea that when he said to Trump that he better come clean, so to speak, because he knew, how do I say this, that he knew what the truth was and all this jazz, and I hope to God it's not true. But this is just beyond incredible. I'm serious. I don't know what when I read this, I could not believe. How can anybody at this point, you would think Pam Bondi would say, I can't do this anymore. I can't I can't tell the American people anymore to keep talking. I can't keep talking about Epstein. I look like a fool. Do you remember when she invited all of these people, all of these folks, all of these influencers to the White House? Remember this? She had all these influencers there and all these folks and all these people of note. And I remember they were there for other reasons. And she said she had binders she was passing out. And they didn't even know they were there. And they didn't really have much of anything. Karen Peterson says, now that we have exposure, hang on a minute. Says, now that we have exposure, what do we really have? Now that we have exposure, what do we really have? The most important thing in the world, what we have, is this false idea that the evidence was anything other than a homicide, as Dr. Bodman would say. Remember, this is not my opinion. This is not my opinion. This is not kind of what I think or what my gut feeling is. This is what I know to be true, based upon the findings, based upon of all things, and this is critical, based upon the medical examiner's report, hyoid bone fracture, thyroid cartilage fracture, 2 pieces of evidence indicative of, and this is critical, indicative of not harm, but homicide or homicide. Now, recently, somebody sent me this. Candace Owens had somebody on. He says, well, we know that Epstein was Mossad. There's no evidence of that. Likely, or not surprising, but that is pure speculation. Again, an educated guess, but not evidence. See, I'm not talking about something. I'm not saying this just to guess. This isn't just a guesstimate. This is not me just thinking, well, I'm sort of, how do I say this? I'm not just hinting. Pat Bonnie has an executioner heir. I don't know about that. But I don't know if, she's not a bad person, but she doesn't understand how she has been made to look in this. That's the part I don't understand. But let me go back to what I said. And thank you for that. And this is important. When I heard Candace Owens, she had somebody on. I don't know who this fellow is. I don't know. But he said, well, he's Mossad. We don't know anything. Anything of the sort. Anything. We believe now, you probably don't remember this, but right around the Trump the first time, everybody kept talking NSA. NSA was everybody's mind. NSA was it. NSA. It was NSA. NSA did it. NSA was responsible. NSA. It was NSA. NSA was everything. And everybody claimed at one point or another to have been in the NSA. It's amazing how many folks I heard or I saw who had been in the NSA. It's incredible. Incredible. And what's important was, what was critical, is how many people said, I found this so fascinating. They acted as though this was absolutely 100% obvious. Well, let me go back to this. As you know, let me just a little backwards. There is a very, very, very serious and very palpable anger towards and regarding Israel by a lot of folks. You know it and I know it. There have been so many people who've come out of the woodwork who have been 100% absolutely nuts, and with an anger and like nothing I've ever even seen. It is incredible. You can't believe the anger. And what's also interesting is that not that the anger is not warranted, but we have a lot of folks who are, I think, not used to this. Maybe not used to, I don't know, whatever the phrase is. And to make a long story short, there are people who came along who all of a sudden, like I've told you this, Abby Martin and Anna Kasparian and Candace to an extent, and others who are, I mean, they're seething. Whenever you mention Israel, they can't get through a sentence without it. They're seething. But the people who are very, very knowledgeable, the people who really know what they're talking about, the Max Blumenthal's and Aaron Mates and others, they're very, very calm because they've been doing this for a lot of times, and also they're adults, and they let the information send them. Okay, with that comes this out of control. Everything is now Zionism. And I heard, and remember, it's not far-fetched. And a lot of times that's precisely what it is. But you'll see, for example, Candace Owens, who just says it's Mossad. Why? Because it was Ehud Barak, it was Les Wexner, it was Alan Dershowitz, who was kind of involved, and he himself, Epstein, and the connection with Israel, and that it was obviously an extortion, black bag. And while that is so, I need evidence of it. It could be CIA. It could be something else. It might be MI6. I have no idea. But the point is, you can't fill in the blanks just because you think, or just because it kind of sort of, just because that narrative makes some sense to you. What I find beyond fascinating, beyond anything, is how people are unable to listen to what's going on right now and not focus on facts. And the fact is simply this, Pam: the evidence, the physical MEs, medical examiners' evidence, the evidence shows trauma consistent with, or not consistent with, indicating thyroid fracture, hyoid fracture. The hyoid bone, this wonderfully fascinating bone that hangs in mid-air. It's not connected, not mid-air, but it's not connected to anything. Sometimes it's seen fractured in the worst cases of blunt or direct trauma that anyone has seen. It's like clotheslines or car accidents or strangulation, anterior, posterior, choke, trachea, or as some people say, larynx. I love that word. But it's trachea, windpipe, crushing, and that kind of thing. The physics involved in suspension, ligation, and ligature, and it's not indicative of such. Not indicative of such. Not resulting in such. It's not there. Go no further. You don't need to go any further. Tartaglione, the fellow who was his roommate, who left him dazed, confused, unconscious almost, with trauma to his neck previously. What do you need? This is it. Now, lucky for Pam, most people do not read this, do not care about this. And listen to me carefully. Nobody on Fox News, Newsmax, News Nation, whatever these news, nobody will talk about it because they are in direct proxy. They are in direct correspondence to fulfilling the official word of the White House. And anything that's contrary to Trump's word, they're not going to go. Do you think anybody's going to bring up Marjorie Taylor Greene? You hear that? Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about geoengineering? No way. No way. Nothing. You think Fox News was going to break that story? We live in a different world. We live in a world where we know what is happening. We know what is happening. It is the, how do I say this? It is the most important and critical stuff there is. Today, look at this. Monday, FBI concludes Jeffrey Epstein, this is InfoWars, Alex, had no clients, didn't blackmail anyone, and definitely killed himself. Americans slam Bondi and Patel. They don't even know. They're not even saying anything. They're just pretending. They're just being like the cool kids walking over the White House grounds. I mean, we can't. When I tell you I couldn't believe what I was seeing today, and I don't even know this. No one is buying this. Alex Jones breaks critical analysis over DOJ, FBI. Nobody believes this. Nobody. Trump torches Musk following launch of America Party. Do you think maybe, or maybe with Netanyahu returning to Washington for the third meeting with Trump? I don't know this. But let me just tell you this. Let me see if I can say this in a nice way. I have not in any way left the president. For whatever it's worth, I have not left the president. You understand that? Karen says the point is the agencies will only tell us what they want us to know, regardless of the evidence. Well, that's kind of true of all agencies. You're right about that. I agree with you 100%. And Dave says, I think he is still alive, new identity. Someone who ran on an op like that he did could easily fake their own death. Dave, I love you, but you say, I think he's still alive. There is no evidence that you have that he's still alive. No evidence that he's still alive. None. Michael Baden, and you can say what you want. When they had the autopsy with the family members there, you're now having the family members suing. It is, and I love you, Dave, but this is how we get in trouble. Because somebody says, he's probably on an island. Remember they said this about John Kennedy Jr.? Remember that? Remember that crazy? What was the guy's name? Fusco or whatever? People were saying it's like, what are you talking about? Dave, you can't be serious. This is where you heard us. He's still alive? Well, his ear. They love these ears. They love to do the thing with Joe Biden's ear and he's wearing a mask. I mean, say what you want about this. They have closed cases. They have had family members observe it. There are, I don't want to say this, but still alive. So the federal government, or somebody did, or Mossad, I guess maybe, came in the middle of the night, so to speak, whacked him, or pretended to whack him, set it up so that somebody or something was carted off. Remember, there were people who were suggesting that the body that was in the morgue or whatever it was not him. Remember, because of the ear, the auricle, the particular line of the folds of the ear. Remember that one? Remember that? You're kidding me. You've got to be kidding me. And so then, all this time, getting rid of will, probating estate, all this stuff, FBI, Ghislaine Maxwell, trials, and he's somewhere on an island, hanging around, not seen anywhere. Nobody's going to bump into him. Nobody. The federal government went through, apparently, the trouble of pretending he was off when all they had to do was just disappear him. All they had to do was just have him not show up. Just not show up. Remember this. It was, if you found out, today, breaking news, financier Jeffrey Epstein. Who? Oh, that guy. Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein was, Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, I remember that guy. Yeah. He's disappeared. Really? That would have gone nowhere. Nobody would have cared about that in the least. But they could have done that easily. Oh, well, he's done. Believe me, nobody's going to be demanding to get to the bottom of the news regarding the disappearance of somebody whose name we don't even know. No, that's not going to happen. Nobody would have even remotely cared about that. In the least. It just defies any kind of logic. It's beyond anything anybody's ever seen. It blows my mind. I got to tell you, I'm telling you the truth. You've really got to, and maybe you're doing it just for fun. Maybe you're just like, let me just throw a monkey wrench into the works here. But there's no way. This is where, even if you're kidding, people think we're kind of crazy about this. Because that doesn't make any sense. There's same people who say it's Mossad. It's like there's no evidence of that. Well, I've got my hunches. Well, that's not what you said. You didn't say I suspect or I wouldn't be surprised. Or you said no, I believe he is. It doesn't make any sense. This is where, again, we lose all credibility completely. They think we're nuts. They laugh at us. They don't pay attention to us because they think we're just crazy. We just say stuff. But Pam Bondi, and here's the best part. I promise you, at Fox News, Ainsley, I love the troops. Ainsley and Hannity and whoever, they're told, don't even think of this. This never happened. Or maybe read it, maybe in a headline news, and move on. Nobody talks about it. Nobody. And Marjorie Taylor Greene talking about weather modification? Oh my God. There's going to be no medical reporters. There's going to be no doctors on. There's going to be no meteorologists. No Janice Dean's going to be talking about that. The weather report, the weather woman, unless she's blasting Cuomo for killing the elderly. Nope. See, that's always the subsidiary story. It's not only that these stories occur, it's the fact that they happen in front of you without any hesitation whatsoever. They happen before you without so much as an explanation, as a blip, as an anything. It's incredible. It's this fascinating, I guess, I don't know what the word is. It's this double standard. The rest of the country, and the best part, who fancy themselves loving news. They really do. They fancy themselves saying, well, I'm a news junkie. And they have the most ridiculous, the most jejune, sophomoric, puerile, simplistic way. I'm just between Marjorie Taylor Greene over the weekend. I can't believe what I'm seeing in this. It blows my mind. Pilgrim says, you're right. They want you to know They want you to know in the open. Well, they don't really care. See, this is what the president is, I think sometimes. Listen, he's all we have. Okay? He's all we have, Pilgrim. He's a man who's a little bit of a kind of a simpleton. Sometimes he's not exactly a deep thinker. People love this 4D chess. I don't know if that's true. I'd like to think that. He says things and changes his mind at a moment's notice. He just, I've never seen anything like it. He just, I don't know what the word is. He just doesn't seem to, how do I say this? He just doesn't care about anything. He just does things. I'm going to have a ceasefire. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. We're going to do this. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. I changed my mind. We're going to have a ceasefire. Yes, we are. No, we're not. Maybe I shouldn't attack Iran. Oh, I did. Oh, we knocked out their nuclear facility. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. And it was great. And then now he's going to Elon. Elon, he wants to have, you see this UFC at the White House or something. I mean, this is, God bless him. There's a part of him is like, he's like an adolescent boy. You know, he loves to wear a hat and loves the military and loves to salute and loves the planes that fly over. The other day, when you see the B-2 or whatever it is fly over, you got to ask yourself, what is this? These are instruments of death. When I think about the United States, I don't think about how we can blow things up. I don't think about that for a moment. I think about something which is even more important. I think something which is critical. I think very, 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 I guess you might want to say, I believe in something which is even more important. I believe in something which is even more critical. Let me stop you for a second, my friend, to remind you of something. You know, when we were talking this morning about our friend Dane Wigington on WABC, there's an incredible story about weather, how it affects crops and rainfall and production. And the most frightening thing was if they stopped this spraying now, it would take. Do you know that cloud seeding might be 10 pounds of silver iodide or whatever the particular is they drop it in the back of a single prop plane compared to hundreds of tons of nanoparticulate? I mean, it is mind-blowing. And when you also have the idea of China maybe owns all of our farmland, we talk about that and then we don't talk about that. In the event of a disaster like that horror that is going on in Texas, with those little girls killed and ruined, just their whole lives cut short, you ask yourself the question, is anybody really paying attention? And more importantly, what happens, and we always say this, what happens if there is a problem? What happens if there is a very serious, a new problem involving production lines or ransomware? What are we going to do regarding our food? Are you able, and not only that, power and shortages and water, and what do you do if you had to go a week and you couldn't go to the store for a week? Mrs. Ellen and I went yesterday this weekend to a Costco. It was on the 5th. And because they were closed one day on the 5th, it looked like there was a sale or something. People came up. One day they went berserk. And they were filling it. Can you imagine if we had to go a week? What would you do? Pay attention to this. Let me ask you a question. What happens when the trucks stop? Think about this. Trucks, the trucks that bring your food. And then when one store closes because of a riot or ransomware hit or a hurricane or even manufactured weather. Oh, yeah, we've talked about that. What happens when all of a sudden, suddenly, the entire supply chain collapses like dominoes? What happens then? We've seen it happen, and it doesn't take much. And that's the thing you've got to think about. A trucker strike, a cyber attack, some EMP, some Carrington class disaster, a city shut down by violence. It only takes one spark for shelves to go empty fast. And when that happens, and when that moment hits, you either have what you need or you don't. And that's why I am telling you, I want you to go to preparedwithlionel.com. Our trusted friends at My Patriot Supply, they're offering unbelievable deals right now. You've got to see deals on emergency food kits that could save your life and your sanity. Over 2,000 calories per day. For 3 months of food per person, shelf stable for 25 years, in any kind of combinations you want, and made to taste like actual meals, not cardboard, not some military MRE. These kits aren't just insurance, they're peace of mind. So go to preparedwithlionel.com, secure your kit, secure your future. Preparedwithlionel.com, preparedwithlionel.com, because when the world breaks down, the prepared don't panic. I'm still trying to, I'm not trying to explain to you, but let me try this again. Let me forget. This morning with Dane Wigington, the government definitely does cloud seeding, but I don't think that is what's causing the flooding. Maybe it was some other advanced geoengineering, but we were due a flood in Texas. Cloud seeding, forget cloud seeding. Forget it. Just don't even bring it up. Operation was a Storm Fury. Cloud seeding is just a little bit of it's a minuscule operation involving some like I said, a single prop plane and some whatever. No, forget crop seeding. Cloud seeding. Forget it. Don't even bring it up. It's not geoengineering. That's not what this is. Cloud seeding's right there. It's just very simple. It's like a couple, I don't know, 50 pounds of something sprayed. No. And also, spend your time. Look at this. Try it again. U.S. used weather modification in Vietnam, and it caused plenty of rain. This is, again, Operation Popeye, cloud seeding. What you saw regarding the floods is not cloud seeding. Do me a favor. Forget you ever heard cloud seeding. We're not talking about that. Not at all. Don't bring it up. Research this. Go to any kind of Google source, ChatGPT, OpenAI, whatever, Grok, whatever. Spend 10 minutes. Put in your questions. The information is there. Don't sit back and just say, I heard this thing is called cloud seeding. No. Do not. Believe me when I tell you this. Do not do this. It's not cloud seeding. People, I'm constantly reinvestigating, researching everything. Please do the same. Carla says weather engineering is as complex as rocket science. Let me tell you something. Not only, you're right, Carla, and thank you. We're talking about it being at levels worldwide. And it's already going on. Who are these planes? Bobby Kennedy said something, and Dane brought this up today. Bobby Kennedy said, well, this might be in the jet fuel, and it's DARPA. And Dane said, no, Bobby Kennedy's a bit of a dupe. Okay, Bobby Kennedy is the kind of like the limited hangout, so to speak. Bobby Kennedy is this attempt for you to believe that we're getting down to brass tacks. Have you heard Bobby Kennedy ever say anything seriously involving autism? Nothing. Nothing. They scared the hell out of him. He won't even talk about who killed his father. Do you hear what I'm saying? Bobby Kennedy won't even talk about who killed his father. It blows my mind. It absolutely blows my mind. We have to ask the president, if you spent as much time on that which affects us, you have done a tremendous job regarding the border. Where's Tom Homan? Is Tom Homan still separated from his family because of death threats? Why would Tom Homan even say that? But where's Tom Homan? Tom Homan was here all the time. Where are these people? Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, Pam Bondi, absolute laughingstock. Kristi Noem, remember her? Little ice Barbie. She just wants to be this cutesy, wants to walk around with her, with her hat and her hair extended. What is going on here? What is she doing? Alina Habba in New Jersey, bless her heart, is actually doing some great stuff regarding the U.S. Attorney's Office there. Well, absolutely. 100%. Good for her. There's, I think Judge Janine was doing some good stuff in D.C. Whatever happened to Dr. Oz? What's he doing? Walking around with his white hair? And what happened to Dr. Oz? Oh, they get through something. See, Trump loves these people because they're stars. He's a star effer. I hate to use that expression. Marty McCary, remember the great Marty McCary? What's he doing? What's he saying? Anything? Dr. Maharanji, you know what I'm talking about. What about him? Nothing. Bobby Kennedy, nothing. Carrie Lake, Voice of America, huh? What's she doing? I don't know. Kimberly Guilfoyle, Ambassador to Greece, huh? What's she doing? I don't know. He just has these people there, and now Bessent, I guess he's doing a good job. I hope he is. And I hope the big, beautiful bill, I'll be honest with you, I'm not an expert in the least. There's like 9 million moving parts to that. I have no. Bessent might be one of the most boring people, but from what I'm hearing, I hope he's doing a good job. That's not my expertise, so I'll leave it to others to say whether he's doing a good job. I don't know. Can you think of anybody that the president has had arrested? Any big names? Fauci? Bobby Kennedy came out, guns blaring, blazing, pointed at Fauci. He just hasn't mentioned him once. It's like they told him. It's like they put him in there to defang him. Don't say a word. Everything that made Bobby Kennedy famous, everything that we loved about Bobby Kennedy, they told him basically, drop it. Let it go. We don't want to hear this anymore. We don't want to hear anything that you have to say about anything that we originally wanted you to talk about. Think about this. It blows my mind. Raul Rodriguez says, sometimes I see many white streaks in the sky. Yes, sometimes. Shit. We see them all the time. Thank you for that. But how many? Mrs. L will tell you, sometimes they say, oh, look, it's a blue sky. They're not spraying today. Let me ask you something. Is there anyone here watching me right now, who has never seen don't say chemtrail. We never call it chemtrail. Chemtrail is that trick word that sends you down the rabbit hole, the wrong way. We don't call it chemtrail. We call it something else. We call it geoengineering. And this is the most important part. This is the most important thing for people to understand. Geoengineering is what it's called and what it is listed in the various Harvard mentions it. MIT does it. Oxford. This is what Bill Gates calls it. It's either solar radiation management, carbon dioxide removal. It is a reflective part of a reflective type of technology that affects the warming and the temperature of the planet. Do you remember this? Here we go again. Look at this. Seeding. LP. Seeding. I said it. This is not cloud seeding. Don't call it. I mean, say whatever you want. I'm not going to. It's a free country. But you're missing the point. You're not listening. You have got to get expert on this subject. If you want to be a part of the conspiratorium, you're going to have to do your research. And we never call it cloud seeding or cloud busting. It just is. No. Different story altogether. Sparky says, didn't COVID affect Iran more? Didn't Bobby Jr. once allude to Israel developing bioweapons to affect specific ethnicities? They cracked down on Bobby Jr. then. No, he did not mention, you're right about that. He did not mention Israel. He was at an Italian restaurant on the Upper East Side. What's that place called? Something, you know what I mean. There's this Italian joint. No, it's called something Italia or something. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, he was in the back room. He thought it was, quote, Chatham rules. And he was just being Bobby, showing everybody how smart he is, trying to seduce women with his wit, because people are just, he thinks he is. I mean, he's a Kennedy. He had a book of all the women all the conquests he's had. You know what I mean? This is the guy. Bless his heart. Still works out with maybe not steroids, but he wants to show you, look at me, I'm working out, I'm taking my methylene blue. He loves this image. You got to understand this. Cut Up says, about 12 years ago, our blue skies filled with misty yuck clouds by noon all summer. I had 30 goats. They all got a weird cough, and half the herd died. No explanation. Many other farmers were lost too. Yep. In fact, Cut Up, you will always see, the term canary in a coal mine absolutely positively makes sense in this respect. But to answer Sparky's question, he was at this place and he said one day he was just musing that it would be possible to determine the genome or the genetic configuration of people in terms of their genotype or whatever. Maybe I could target, for example, Ashkenazi Jews or Mandarin, and he was going through various ethnicities. He wasn't dare saying that Israel was concocting this to target. No. It's quite the obvious. Bobby went through this thing immediately thereafter, the most embarrassing thing anybody has ever seen. When he and again, I don't know how. I don't want to keep referring to, what do they call him? The butt plug rabbi, but Shmuley Botiach, where he said, I'm going to come to the rescue. And they pulled Shmuley in to be a minder or a tender or something. And you could see Bobby looked like he was held hostage. We went to see him at the Glass House down the street. And it looked like it was Bobby's mea culpa tour, where he went around saying, I'm sorry, because they called him anti-Semitic, again, that term, because he said that there was the possibility, at least theoretically, that maybe one day a bioweapon could be targeted or could be implemented to target certain ethnicities. And he fell for it. And it was the most embarrassing. I lost at whatever respect there was. It's like, Bobby, do you know what you're doing? It was. We heard this. You couldn't believe this. According to Bobby Kennedy, remember he was walking around with the Israeli flag, and he's like, what are you doing? He didn't see that one coming. Sparky says, I used the word allude because I wasn't sure if Bobby outright said it. Israel jumped on him. No, Israel jumped on him. Well, put it this way. Somebody jumped on him, whether it's Israel, I'm not sure. But they said that they accused him of being anti-Semitic. Somebody at that event did it. And Bobby said, I need damage control. Help me. Rabbi Shmuley to the rescue. I'll help you. And it was embarrassing. It was the worst. This was before any of this. None of us could figure it out. Say, Bobby, where did you? All you have to do is say, I never said that. This is not anti-Semitic. If anything, I'm trying to look out for people. What if somebody could find out the genetic configuration or the genotype or whatever it is, or the biomarkers or the genetic fingerprint of Ashkenazi Jews or Europeans or Asians? Or no, but it's like somebody told, but it looked like somebody said, make sure you ask for forgiveness, because maybe he was getting money, maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But I've never seen anything like it. And when I saw him with the Israeli flag back, it was like overkill. For so long, these folks didn't have to worry about nobody. They were like under the radar. People said, okay, well, maybe you're pro-Israel. And that was okay. It was no big deal. But after Gaza, everything changed. The rules changed. And then you've got this Ted Cruz who said the reason he ran for office. Go back and watch Tucker. God bless Tucker. Remember, this is an unforced error. No, Tucker didn't do this. He said this. The reason he ran for office was not only to support the United States and the Constitution, but to defend Israel. People said, what? What are you talking about? You became a United States Senator to what? He said this with a straight face. And if I didn't know better, it's like somebody told him, if you're going to go on with Tucker, we will not accept anything short of you throwing yourself on the sword and absolutely going full. It was nuts. Crazy talk. It wasn't even subtle. You would think what I would recommend to our friends in the Israeli or the lobby is to back off and back down. Another thing too is, if I would say to Bibi, do me a favor, take everybody, Dershowitz, Shmuley, everybody you have representing it, get them off the platform immediately. They are doing more harm. Have you seen what they're doing? What young folks are doing to this, not the mashups, but these compilations. When Theo Vaughn understands what's happening, and finally Piers Morgan, the scavenger, the vulture, do they not it's as though they have enjoyed impunity for so long. They just figure, no, the rules have changed. Back off. Let this go. Just remember, with America, all you have to do is just stay out of the woodwork. But no, they're going on, and they're having these, I don't know who these people are. There was a woman I saw with Piers Morgan. I don't know if she's with the Israeli government or she just is whatever. And she's screaming. She won't let anybody get a word in. Then they had Dave Smith, a comedian, very smart, with this Oxford-trained barrister representing either Israel. And they asked her, does Israel have nuclear weapons? And she was doing the hamana, hamana, hamana. I thought, you've never thought of this question? This is your answer? Oh, I don't know. I'm not. It's the most. And everybody was screaming. I want you to listen to what I'm saying. I don't care what you like. I don't care what you believe. I don't care where you're from. It doesn't matter to me in the least. It doesn't matter in the least. I'm an American citizen. I couldn't care less about Bibi or Macron or Zelensky or anybody. I don't care about them. What I do care about is how it affects our involvement and our being pulled into battles and wars that we have no business being in. So to say it again very, very carefully, to say it again, and I say this, we're looking at something here that is beyond anything I've ever seen before. Beyond anything I've ever seen before. This is a new everything. Everything is new. Let me give you another story. As an aside, Zoran Mamdani. Okay? This is the feller that wants to be and probably will be. Put your money on it. He's going to be the mayor of New York. Not that I want him to be. And he's this nice guy. Seemingly. Nice smile. And what he did was he went and he dealt with the South Asians, these Southern Hemisphere, just, you name it. Indo-Pacific Asian. He visited in New York City 135 mosques, or 150. I heard the number change. 135 mosques before the how do I say this? Just before the primary. 135. Do you hear what I'm saying? In it was 1 week. Yeah, 1 week. He put out a social media. It was brilliant in every conceivable language, from Hindi, Pashtun, names. I don't know anything about these things. Using words and phrases from their diet to show a conversance with this. Brilliant. He met with people. He went to how many doors were 1 million and one? I don't know how you go to a door in New York, but I guess maybe 1.5 million doors he went to, knocked on doors. And what did the Republicans do? He had teams, of course. What did the Republicans do? Nothing. The New York Post puts out an editorial that says he's stupid. Democrats are stupid. You're crazy. We're right. He's a Democrat. Well, the polls are... They don't do anything. Where's the counter? We have this thing right now where everybody's trying to tell Curtis Lee what? Drop out of the poll. Drop out of the race. That's it. They think that somehow, if you just got rid of Cuomo and Curtis, all of a sudden Eric Adams will rise to the top and people will love him because there's more people who love him than love Mondani. I've never seen a lazier bunch of people in my life who think that somehow just being right. They don't understand things have changed. It's a different world. It's a different everything. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's a different world. The Israeli lobby, or whatever you want to call it, whatever the word is, if it does not understand, they think it's 20 years ago. They don't understand what Gaza has done. They have no idea. They don't understand it. We're crying for these little girls, and we should in Texas, crying. But when they take out babies who were just splattered, shards, nothing left of them from apartment houses and buildings and hospitals, whatever, they don't bat an eye. Nobody's batting an eye. Well, a lot of people are batting an eye. And you see, they don't understand. There's like a changing, not of the guard, but there's this, it's like the people who thought that rap music was stupid because they didn't like it. Or the people who say, well, I think the Beatles are stupid because I don't like it. All I know is simply this. This is my value to you. I tell you the way it is. Sparky says, in medieval Europe, usury was forbidden for Catholics, so Jews were relied on for banking. Was there a shortage of Jews and some enterprising Catholics became Jewish to fill banking needs? Well, I don't know, but let me tell you something, Sparky, and I love you to death. And I love you to death. And that's interesting. That may fascinate you. But when you tell people that, and that's your response, and that, again, I'm not saying it's not true or whatever, it sounds like, oh, who is it? Didn't Trump use the word Shylock the other day or something? This comes across to people as being not anti-Semitic, but give you an example. Owen Schroyer did this wonderful piece. I say stay away from it. He went through Menachem Begin, Golda Meir, Bibi Netanyahu, and they said they gave a lot of these were Ben Gurion. They were either Polish or Eastern European, and the idea is that they don't even live there. We did a DNA. They don't live there. Sparky says, might explain their lack of Mideastern DNA. Again, I was going to say just now what I'm saying. Nobody's worried. Don't worry about the Middle Eastern DNA. Okay? We don't have North American DNA because unless we're the Comanches or wherever the heck we are. When you get into talks about who belongs where, and you get into, and again, I'm not saying it's not valid, but we don't need to even go there. I don't care about where Golda Meir's family is from. It's funny to hear Owen Schroyer can't pronounce it, but it doesn't matter. Well, he's really Ukrainian, and they're not from, they were there first. This is the old argument that talks about the Balfour Declaration and how all of a sudden the British showed up and said, okay, we call this the Near Palestine, whatever it was. We're beyond that. If what's going on today, if your argument is the Balfour Declaration, there's no hope for you. We don't need to even go there. People still think there's cloud seeding. They're not going to look this up. Don't confuse people. Keep it simple. Very simple. Keep it very, very simple. You don't want to do anything that's complicated. You don't want to have anything that's complicated. Believe me when I tell you this. Just all you have to do is just look at this. And the question I have to ask is, President Trump, are you looking at what is happening to young people, to your voters, to your support? Have you turned your back on Amish, the Bronx? Nobody is screaming to bomb Iran. Nobody. Now, Trump may say, I don't care because I'm Donald Trump and what I say goes, and I'm magical. When I say something, you may not like it at first, but there are a lot of people who they just give me a pass. I say, look, Mr. You do whatever you have to do, and if it helps. And people still, I can't believe how many people love this idea that they said death to America. They're actually using that as a basis. Menachem Begin was such a familiar person on the news when we were young. It's funny to hear even Katie Halper having trouble pronouncing his name. I know. It's and Menachem Begin and remember Begin and Sadat, and remember the King David Hotel and all this. I mean, listen. If you want to, again, there's this thing. When people started to talk about Obama being Muslim or Indonesian and not American, they, wait a minute. That's that Hillary Clinton, that Mark, what's his name? That memo business. Stay away from things like ethnicity, purity, where you're from. Are you really an American? President Trump may very well see, I am doing so great. You know what? This is my last ride. Screw them. They tried to kill me 2 times, 3 times, whatever it is. I made it. I'm on a mission from God. I can do it. I don't know what he thinks. I have no idea. I have no idea. I'm glad to see the president and Mrs. and the first lady more affectionate in public, which is a nice thing to do, which is, I don't know if that's good. I kind of like that, which is good. He's kind of on his own. He's wearing that hat more. He and Elon he loves pissing matches. So does Elon. They're like little girls around. They're like the bro man. I hate that term. But there's all this stuff going on, which I don't understand politically. I would say, Mr. President, get out of this thing. Get out of NATO. Get out of this. Stop with Zelensky. Stop with Israel. Stop with this. Stop it. Stop. You're ready. Stop threatening to kill people. Stop threatening. We don't have the manpower. Work on the United States. And now, who was it? Somebody just, wait, was it Yemen? Did Israel target Yemen? Did we not learn? Did they not learn after 30 days of the Houthis? They kicked our ass. This is something where we just think we're just superior. There's no way anybody named the Houthis can beat us. Want to bet? Sounds like Westmoreland during Vietnam. Those people, some with a bag of rice, and they wear flip-flops and a thong and a diaper in the middle of the. What are you talking? Really? Really? Remember, I hate to keep using the Mearsheimer term, but it's about realism. So anyway, dear friends, thank you so much. Thank you. Sparky, as usual, your background, your knowledge is without peer. Cut up chatter, thank you. And Raul, thank you. Carla, the cooking CEO. Pilgrim Media. Dave, thank you. Dave thinks, of course, that Epstein has a new identity. Karen Peterson, thank you. And let me see. And that's it for that one. Now, remember, follow Mrs. L at Lynn's Warriors. Great stuff coming up. Her stuff is better and bigger and badder than ever. Don't forget my other channel, Lionel Legal. That thing is taking off because we're doing a lot of in-depth Diddy stuff, not the usual stuff that's deep and dark and dank and sinister, and it's great. And also make sure you're subscribed here to Lionel Nation, because 85% of the people who actually visit here, for reasons I do not understand, are not subscribed. I don't know why. And also make sure, July the 19th at the Cutting Room, ladies and gentlemen, tickets are available. I want to see you there. We're starting to fill up. Please make sure you sign up right now, because do you know what we're going to be talking about? Do you have any, between now and a week from now? Who knows what it's going to be? It changes daily. All right, my friends, we'll see you again tonight at 6 p.m. for our evening show. New time, 6 p.m. Have a great and a glorious day. Thank you so much, dear friends. We love you. Don't forget, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue you. Da.